Yes, it's been a while, but I am back, and I am back with a vengeance. Well, not really a vengeance. I have a bottle of Aberfeldy 12 years old, that's what I'm back with, and I will be tasting it for you in just a few moments. Yes, that is right. A good way to come back into the game, as it were, is with this bottle of Aberfeldy 12 years old. I picked it because it does have a connection to one of my previous videos. The Aberfeldy Distillery was founded by the brothers Dewar. You might recall that I have done a tasting of the Dewar's 12 years old, the Ancestor. It was a Scotch blend. The two sons of Dewar founded this Aberfeldy Distillery, and there was some Aberfeldy in the Ancestor, and I assume in the other two major blends that the Dewars make. The distillery, in terms of whiskey distilleries, is quite young. It was founded 100 years ago. Where were you 100 years ago? Where was I 100 years ago? I don't even want to think about it. Too philosophical for this time of night. It is located in the Highlands in Perthshire, apparently quite close to the River Tay, near a train station. They mention this train station and a train that now remains at the distillery as an attraction. This is the entry-level Aberfeldy. There are other expressions. There is a 16-year-old, there's an 18-year-old, and a 21-year-old expression. And it has the kind of things, statistics, if you will, that you would expect from a beginner's whiskey. So, Aberfeldy, they are single malt whiskies. It is a Highland Scotch. The ABV for this particular expression is the standard 40% ABV, so that's for the great unwashed, for the general public. Has been coloured and it has been chill filtered. So now let's have a look at the bottle and see what we're dealing with. Here we go. Mellowed for 12 years, so 12 years old, sorry. I usually mention how old it's been matured. In handmade oak casks, this smooth, sweet dram offers rich rewards for those who like to dig deeper. We lose a fair bit to the angels, though almost a third of every cast has disappeared into the ether before we're ready to bottle. I keep on meaning to do a video on what the angel share is, but it's rather a dry topic. All right, that's don't worry. I'll explain that. A very faint, sweet sherry smell in the cork. This new arrangement with the black labeling is, well, it's not that new. It's a few years old now, but I understand it caused quite a stir. The old Aberfeldy fans were quite enamored of the old style of bottling with a squirrel or some kind of rodent on it, and the rodent is gone, but the whiskey is still exactly the same. So if you're a bottle collector, then finding one of the old bottles is, probably a bit of a treat. But for someone like me, a bit of a schmuck, the whiskey is exactly the same. So, actually, before I start, to me, this is very similar to the Dalwhinnie 15 years old. There's a lot of common elements. There's the smell of heather. There's the honey taste. Even the color is roughly the same. If you were to blindfold me and make me drink both, well, you wouldn't have to make me. I'd probably do it willingly. I think I'd have a hard time deciding which was which, but my palate is rather novice, so take that with a dram of whiskey. Very, very sweet. Sherried fruits, I would say. There is some background peat smoke, but I wouldn't classify this as, one of those very peaty whiskies. Very, very faint, minimal. The sherried fruits turn into a kind of a honey, nice honey, with some background heather on the hill. Very, very potent. Very nice. Very nice nose. Mud in your eye. Honey and spices. Fairly close together. I'd say the honey comes first. The spice very, very closely behind. Some general sweetness. Not the sweetness at the bottom of the pie, the sweetness of whiskey, which is a lot more understated, but definitely there. And the peat is probably more heavily pronounced in the taste than it is in the nose. It just has a suggestion of it, which for me is all I need. I'm very suggestible. The more sips you have, the more the maltiness comes in. Very nice. Very nice indeed. I would say this has a medium finish. And it's dominated with spice and malt. And just a faint trace of oranges. Not very much. It's mostly the spiciness and the maltiness. Interesting that the sweetness, like usually sweetness for me tends to carry through, but it's not so much there in the finish. Oh, very good. So I confess I rather like the Aberfeldy. I'm very curious about the older expressions because, as I understand it, they take on a bit more of a Christmassy character, from what I've been told. Don't believe everything you hear. I do. A good little entry-level dram, I think. This would be one of the ones that I would suggest if you're trying to introduce someone to drinking whiskey neat. Quite affordable, I believe. In Australia, it sells for around about the $60, $70 mark. It's a little hidden gem. I don't see this very much in people's houses, but it's a very nice dram. I would recommend it. If you happen to know that your tastes are exactly like mine, I would recommend it. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more whiskey reviews, please do subscribe to the channel. That would make me all a tingle. And I look forward to tasting another whiskey for you salty dogs very, very soon.